Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video I'll be going through the Perth Scorchers versus Hobart game that we had last night, in which Perth ran home winners by 9 wickets with 23 balls left, just under 4 overs. They really just made that total of 170 look well under par, and they probably would have easily chased 200, to be honest with you, with the way that they were playing. And yeah, but Hobart just gave away way too many wickets early and then never really recovered, even though Chris Jordan hit 59 off 20 or something like that, and really got them up to the 170 score. They really would have made about 130, 120 if it wasn't for Chris Jordan. But anyway, before we get into the video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and let's get into the recap. So, as you can see here, Perth Scorchers 1 for 173, chasing 8 for 172 from Hobart, and Berendorf was man of the match. And this game couldn't have gone pretty much any worse for me in terms of the player totals, as you'll see with SuperCoach, as Jai Richardson's catch was basically the only thing that went right the whole game. So Caleb Jewell made 12 off 11 and then got out to Lance Morris, caught off Ashton Turner for 12 off 11, as we said, and didn't get the strike rate bonus because he didn't get to 20 and was only on a 109 strike rate. Anyway, Ben McDermott, at least he got caught by Jai Richardson. That was about the only thing that went well for me, but Berendorf again just showing that he is the much valued pick over the likes of Jai Richardson in the end. If I go to BBL matches, if it will load, thank you for not loading. It's been a slow day, I guess. As we see here, you can see, if it will load for me, that Berendorf scored 113 in the end, and we'll get to him later, but I just want to bring up his, this is just extremely slow. His round 1 score of 108 and then 113 over Jai Richardson's 95 in total means that he's cleared him by 221 to 95 is a 126 point clearance. So I did burn a lot there, as Berendorf did start at 175k. So I probably, and he's going to have a break even of 51, which he got 113. So he's going to go up 16k. So he's probably, if I move my camera across here so you can actually see it. So he is going to probably go up, I would say, with a 113. He's going to go up. Well, he beat his break even by 62, so he's going to go up probably 16k to 195k, so there's going to be about 6k difference in between those two guys, and he'll have the lower break even. So he's probably going to make up that 70k difference between him and Jai Richardson, which would have been nice to have. But Berendorf, I mean, I went for the guy who averaged more last year over in the likes of Jai Richardson over Berendorf, and that decision is starting to really not pay, as you can see with Richardson minus 29k for a 200k price now after this game. But anyway, that's sort of just got to hope that he can put up a 130 or something like that against the Melbourne Renegades in round 3, and then trade him out hopefully at that sort of 190, 180, 190, 195k range next week. But we'll see with that how that goes. But luckily, I don't think I need his cash gen or his cash as desperately as what people would have thought. So it's just him averaging 30 or whatever that he is averaging at the moment. Well, technically he's averaging like 46, 47, but still that isn't the greatest compared to some of the other guys like Berendorf, who's averaging 70, but realistically about 105. So you got Hayne here, Golden Duck, he just got out to Berendorf with just a really good ball. Tim David as well got out to Berendorf in one of the dumbest fashions that I've ever seen. He'd hit 2 boundaries off the over and then just tried to go for a third in the power play. He'd done enough damage and really just needed to stay there when they were 2 for 28 off 3.3. He'd gotten them into a decent position where they would probably have been around about that 2 for 30 or 4, and it wouldn't have been the end of the world for them. But losing him and then losing Caleb Jewell just outside the power play again made them 4 for 28, so they lost 2 wickets in basically 4 balls. 4 balls, 2 for none off 4 balls, so that really just pegged them back again. So so Tim David and Caleb Jewell again, that top order just collapsing really didn't help. Corey Anderson, 8 off 16, he really isn't providing at the moment in terms of the batting strike rate, which we would sort of expect given his past, how he played when he was an international player for New Zealand, so hopefully that can turn around, but I'm not going to be picking him anytime soon. Nikhil Chowdhury probably gets himself another game now after the 40 off 31, 45 points there, plus 10 points for the catch that he had as well, and then also I think 3 or 4 dot balls, so I think he ended up with like a 59, I want to say he ended up with a 59. He ended up with a 57 due to 2 dot balls there. So yeah, as you can see, he's going to be a product. And with a 14 break even, I want to say he had 12 break even, 45. He's going to go up 11k. So I reckon I can use Manenti there, stash 40 other k, and get another cash gen out of Chowdhury, as his break even is going to be like minus 20, minus 30 or something. It's going to be small. As it should be minus 25, minus 30. So yeah, I reckon grab him up, as if he puts up another 30 or even 40 there. He could just be one that just generates cash off the bench, given that I suspect that he will be playing now over the likes of Owens, as Owens did nothing with the ball, and Chowdhury was probably a better product with the ball rather than Owens, and he provided a lot more with the bat. Chris Jordan went absolutely crazy with a 59 off 20 and burned the whole of Richardson's figures. I mean, Richardson went for 29 off his last 2 or something. He was none for, I think, 13 off 2 and went for 29 off his last 2. If he'd gone for 13, something like that, off his last 2, he probably would have ended up with about a 40 or something like that, but ended up only having, I think, 1 dot ball in his last 2 overs, or I think it was at 18, I want to say, after 2 overs. So he only had 3 dot balls in his last 2 overs, burned his economy rate as well. So he just had one of those days where, you can do all the planning, you can do all this, but sometimes luck just isn't in your way. And hopefully Richo can bounce back, because that hold is not looking the best unless I can get a points gain over him over the likes of a Munro. But I probably should have traded him and held Nessa. Now, looking at it, that probably would have been the plan, as Nessa's break even, I just want to check here, is if I actually go to players, I just want to check this quickly. Nessa, here, his break even for Nessa is 66, so I probably actually should have just held him over the likes of over Richardson, but that's in hindsight, and you can't really play the game in hindsight. So there's sometimes that the norm isn't going to work. And I did a lot of, after this game was finished, I did a lot of research on sort of why this game was an anomaly. I mean, even with only 9 wickets taken, we saw, and the batters and Perth score at 11 runs and over, we only saw the batters outscore the bowlers by 123, 129, and that's taking out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 catches out of the total points score of 889, is that? So that's an 829. So the bowlers, I think, scored about 350 odd, and the batters scored 470 in a game in which 9 wickets were taken, and also one team scored at 8.5 and over, which would negate all on average. And look at this, economy rate bonuses as well. We saw only 40 economy rate bonuses, where we score 30 in just runs bonuses itself, and we saw here 50, 50, 65, 70, 75 in strike rate bonuses. So that just basic, and 105 in bonuses for the run scorers, and only for the batters, and only 40 for the bowlers, as you can see here. And then we also did get, I believe, a wicket bonus here as well, so 50. So that's where a lot of the differences is. And so yeah, it just shows how much bowlers sort of dominate the batters, that in a game like this, they only outscored them by 129. And I know that sounds like a lot, but if you go through the stats here and go through even this game here, I think you'll find a similar thing. But if you go through probably this game, you would see the bowlers dominate here just because of the wickets taken. This game would probably have the same thing. This game as well probably have the same thing. And I reckon this game, just because of the economy rates, would have a similar thing with the bowlers outscoring the batters. As you can see here, Berendorf, Connolly took a wicket as well. Mackenzie dominated. You can just see that these games dominated by the bowlers. Bowlers seem to always dominate. Sanger here as well. Bartlett, Walter did all his damage with the ball pretty much. Sweppo, Kuhneman, you see. So basically when the game is, you need a game as one-sided as that with the bat, just to get the batters dominating. So I'm not going to go points chasing in the next round by picking batters like Hardie and stuff like that as his role. He's going to probably do games like that where he scores 80 odd and stuff like that. But in the overall, the when you extrapolate it out and you look across the whole season, bowlers are going to outscore the batters. This was just one of those anomaly games. So let's get back to just the bowlers. And Berendorf 4 for 25. I mean, if he just given Richardson 1 wicket, that would have just helped. And Richardson beat the edge so many times. I think he had like 5 play or misses in his first 2 overs, to the point that they were just leaving the ball off him, whereas they were trying to hit Berendorf for everything. So Tim David, I don't know what he was doing. And it just sucks with Berendorf picking up, 7 wickets in 2 games, and Jai Richardson, I think, only 1 or 2. So yeah, Berendorf 4 for 25, economy rate bonus of 15, I think, or 10. 10, I think it is, 10 for him. And then 14 dot balls as well, so 13 overall there he should have gotten. So he ended up, I believe, a 113. Then you have Lance Morris as well, 4 overs, 1 for 27. He would have almost been a better pick this round, but obviously I wasn't going to trade Richardson, as like Richardson was one of the highest scoring guys last year, even with the dual status of Matt Short. So yeah, it's one of those times where a guy just doesn't perform, and it was his 7th lowest round score of BBL SuperCoach across 52 games, which is about, I would think, I think that might have even included every game. It might not have even been a round score, and his lowest score in 9 games. And like, I can go back to you and just show you every single stat that just shows that this was a massive anomaly for Richardson and also for the batters itself. But that's the game of Supercoach. Sometimes you just need that luck. And yeah, I'm always going to go for a bowler over a batter in itself, because there is a chance that tonight Munro just nicks off first ball. And then I still get a gain of 20 points out of him, or Nessa doesn't turn up and I still get a gain out of that as well. So there is every chance that Richardson still was the best choice points-wise. It just doesn't look good cash-gen-wise. Then we go tied. He picked up a wicket in the last over to sort of save his scoring, but he was on par sort of with Richardson at one point. Obviously didn't get the economy rate bonus, and this is what I was saying about guys that like sort of bowl 3+ overs. When you get sort of, I reckon 13 should be the marker where they start getting a negative for bowling. So yeah, tie would have been close to my imaginary trying to peg it back to sort of batters and bowlers being even, but his 2 for 49 ended up getting, I think, like 50 points. If we look here, his he ended up almost playing better than Chowdhury, who made a 40 off 31 when he got both. Who did he get out in the end? He got out Corey Anderson and also Chris Jordan off the last ball of the innings, and got higher than pretty much all of the Hurricanes guys. And then Ashton Agar, 3 overs, 1 for 15, and he just profited with a 57 or something. Yeah, 57 for that, just showing that the economy rate bonus that you can get is huge. And he, I think, took a catch as well to get to 1 for 15 and the 57 points. Then we move over to the Scorchers, and Cooper Connolly, 5 off 7. Bold Jordan caught Chowdhury, so there was some points for Chowdhury. And then it was just the batters here. Zach Crawley, 65 off 46, gets the bonus for the 50, which is 10 points, as well as, 15 points. So I think he ended up with a 90, I want to say. Yeah, a 90 for Zach Crawley. And then Hardie, as we see here, 85 with the bat. Max strike rate bonus, so that's 25, as well as 10 for the 50, as well as, I believe, a catch as well there to get the max 130 score. So he ended up really good as well there. And then the bowlers, basically no one turned up. No bonus there for Stan Lake. No bonus for Dooley. Chris Jordan got no bonus, just the wicket. So he ended up with a 26 from the bowling. Nathan Ellis ended up actually -1, as he had a couple of leg buys and stuff like that. So he actually ended up going negative. Owens, nothing. Corey Anderson, nothing. And Chowdhury, 1 over for 5 runs with 3 dot balls, and I believe one of them was a leg bye or a bye or something like that. So he ended up with two extra points. As you can just see the bowling here for the likes of the Hurricanes. You had Dooley on -1, Haynes 0, Stanlake 1, McDermott 4, Dooley 7, Anderson 8. You see all these guys just not scoring well. So in the end, Tim David and Jewell were their tied fourth highest scorers with just 12 with the bat. So it just shows the complete dominance of the Scorchers. Look at that differential. What's that? 279 points, I want to say. 279 point differential in points for the teams. And yeah, so that pretty much sums up the video. We went through the second innings very quickly because there wasn't much to talk about. And I mean, the Scorchers just dominated the game. And it sounds annoying to say this, but it feels like you can almost just telegraph what's going to happen for this whole this whole regular season. Perth is going to finish on top, probably lose 1 game out of the 10 or 2 games out of the 10. Sydney's probably going to finish 2nd or 3rd alongside the Heat on probably losing 3 games, I'd say. Both of them, 3 or 4. And then I reckon the likes of the Strikers are going to finish 4th with like 4 losses. And then you'll probably have the Thunder on the likes and scrape in, I believe they play with the 5-team final series. They will scrape in with 5 and 5, I reckon. And then the other 3 teams in the 2 Melbourne sides and Hobart are probably going to finish with 3 or so wins or less. And so you can almost just skip the whole regular season and then just play the finals with those 5 teams, or even just a 4 teams final series with a double chance for the top 2 teams. And it's only really what's going to happen with Sydney and Brisbane, in my opinion. So it just shows how different the list management is between some of the top sides and some of the sides in this comp. Is Perth, I mean, admittedly, they've gotten lucky with their top tier talent, but they haven't even gone crazy with their overseas guys, and they're still a top tier team. Just shows that they've been able to keep their local talent. Sixers, very much the same. Well, even Sixers, they've poached a lot of Hobart guys, Tasmania guys like Jordan Silk. Dennis Hughes is a New South Wales guy, but he is sort of that 11 to 15 man team. And I mean, the Sixers batting in itself doesn't look appealing, but it's still like they don't even have Curtis Patterson playing over, and guys like Harry Nielsen I don't think should be really playing, etc. So there's a lot of guys that I just think are on getting contracts that probably shouldn't be, and it's sort of this hanging around hope because they played before type thing when you really should be giving other guys a chance. But anyway, that is the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.